Don't hurt him!
Alright guys, I'm going to show you how to do a homemade squib machine basically to show what a squib is basically like blood bursting from the body when you're being shot like they use in Hollywood movies. This is kind of an independent film sort of way of doing it, very cheap, very low budget. In fact, this is less than 25 bucks. You can go to the hardware store, Home Depot, or anywhere else and buy these components, put it together, and nice thing about this is it is fairly safe. So if you want to do some squibs where you're not going to be using explosives or any sort of pyrotechnics on the body, which they oftentimes do on Hollywood films, but with professionals that know what they're doing, this is a nice safe way of doing it without blowing holes in people or accidentally blowing up firecrackers or those little cherry bomb thingies on the body or whatever you're trying to do to make realistic looking squibs with blood packets. This is a good way to go, good alternative without hurting people, and it's also pretty cheap. So here we go.
Okay, yeah, now you see what I'm talking about. Now you're listening to reason. Kill her, Jarrus! Do it! Now!
Alright, so we just showed you two different clips there. I've got headphones on now, so now I've got better audio. Anyway, one clip was one getting shot outside the chest. One was from an actual movie called Ground Zero. If you want that to watch that, it's on Hulu streaming. It's also on Amazon streaming. It's on Netflix. You can rent it on DVD off Netflix as well. So if you want to watch Ground Zero, it's a zombie movie. Has a few of those gun effects that we're going to be showing here using the same contraption. So one was a shot coming out of the chest, where the tube just comes up the chest and blows out the chest, which we're going to show. And the other one is just the tube is just brought up the back of the shirt on the back of the head and just taped to the back of the head, and then you have blood splattering out the back of the head. So what we're going to show you here works for both these effects. Part 2 shows you how to replace the ripped shirt, and you also has the same concept with replacing a bullet hole inside the head already. You make the skin disappear, and then the practical makeup effect on the head. That's on part 2 of this. So if you want to watch that on the digital effect part, we'll show you how to do that. But now we're showing you the practical effect on this clip here, showing you how to build the machine and use it.
Okay, so the components you're going to need is a 10-foot hose. This hose size here is 3/4 inch around, and the hole is about a 1/2 inch. So and about 10 feet will do. We've got a hose clamp here that fits a 1/2 inch ring, a little bigger than a 1/2 inch ring. We'll put this on the end, on one end of the hose. It's going to attach to a garden hose sprayer. On the other end, we've got this 1/2 inch plug. You'll find this 1/2 inch plug in the PVC area of Home Depot. But this is basically going to go inside the opposite end and completely plug off the opposite end of the hose. And we're going to create a hole that the blood's going to spray out. But all this stuff has been done for less than 25 bucks. The receipt here is showing for everything besides the garden hose sprayer, which I already have. So 12 bucks plus about 10 bucks is less than 25. Here's the garden hose sprayer, about 10 bucks at Home Depot. This is a pump sprayer. You pump it up, and then when you hit the trigger, it releases and sprays out the end. We're just going to pump it with air and put no liquid in the container. It's just going to be air that's releasing and pumping out the stuff that we need. We need gaff tape for this as well, because we're going to gaff tape this to the body, or duct tape, and blood. This gallon of blood here stuff, this is garbage and it stains like you wouldn't believe. Don't use it. Use some better blood. But first take the nozzle off this, so it doesn't have the sprayer part, and it's just got that connection on the end. Also, one thing you ought to do is take out this little needle that's inside, because you don't want a narrowed amount of air to come out of it. You want as much air to come out of this at once as possible. So I take out this little needle on the inside and attach the hose back to the garden hose sprayer. The first step, we're going to take this hose clamp and put it around the 10-inch or the 10-foot hose. We're going to put it onto this the end of the sprayer handle here, and I'm going to get a ratchet wrench or a screwdriver, and we'll just tighten this on here. So this is an 8mm head here, so I'm just going to put that on there, tighten it on. And once that's pretty tight, you don't want to do it too tight because it'll crack the plastic if it gets too tight, but get it pretty snug where it won't come off. Now on the other end of the hose, you're going to put in the plug. So on one end it's attached to the sprayer, the other end you're putting in the plug because you don't want it to shoot out straight out of the top. And you just use like a hammer or something. If you can't get it in with a hand, just hammer, 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 hammer until you get it in there. And I just got it in far enough. So this is going to be plenty of time, but I like the hammer thing, so I'm just going to keep hammering, hammering. Don't hurt yourself. There you go. That's enough right there. It doesn't need to be flush, just as long as it's in there. Then you're going to take a razor and you're going to cut utility knife, and you're going to cut kind of an eye hole out of this thing here. Once this eye hole is cut, it'll spray out kind of going open. It'll spray outwards, and if you make kind of an eye hole, it'll have a further range that it will spray out of. Instead of shooting straight out, it'll kind of do this diagonal spray out, and have more area that it will cover. So you got this eye hole, so it won't go out the very end, but it will go out that eye hole. All right, now that's it for building it basically. Here I am. I'm going to attach it to my body here. You can use a shirt underneath if you don't want to duct tape it to your body, or you can just duct tape it to your body. I don't say duct tape it to your body because it'll rip off hairs and hurt somebody's skin. So I say put a shirt underneath, whatever you're going to do here. But you'll see this is where it's going to be spraying out. See how it's attached to my body here? I'm going to duct tape that to my body. And actually the cable there at the bottom could be tucked down the pants there so it's not visible. And I'm going to put a shirt over the top of this as well, the shirt that's going to be shot through. You're going to get very bloody doing this too, by the way. You make sure that hole is in the direction that you need it to spray. Duct tape it on so it stays on the body, it doesn't move. And so that hole is spraying outwards. So once you get that kind of in the right area there that it's going to be shooting out of, like I said, you can tape this to the back of a head too, but and then it'll be spraying out of the body there. I got the eye hole spraying out. And now I'm going to put the shirt on. Once the shirt is on, you're going to grab a funnel, and sorry about the gross chest hairs there, and you're going to pour the blood into it till it fills it up near to the top. So you get plenty of blood in there. The more blood you get in there, the more it will spray out. Once it fills up to the top there, kind of mop off the end so the blood doesn't soak through to the shirt, and make sure that you probably soak a little bit out of there. Then I pump this sprayer up about 150 to 200 times. So there's a lot of pressure. And yes, earthquake table there, earthquake table alert. Get that pumped up about 150 times. Use my feet. There we go. Got some leverage with my one camera in my hand and pumping with the other hand. Yay. Anyway, you can take the shirt off and cut a hole in the shirt where the shot's going to shoot through. Make sure the shirt's off when you do this so you don't cut the person. You put the shirt on, and then you cover over the hole where the tube is. Sorry about the chest hairs once again. They're gross, I know. But now you've got the shirt on. You're going to grab some corn syrup and just dip your finger in it, and you're going to kind of put it on the inside of the shirt and paste it down to the tube. The hole is right there, right under or where it's going to spray. It's going to spray right out of the hole there. I've got it all lined up, taped to my chest, and I'm going to kind of corn syrup that down so it kind of stays down. There we go. Nice. Looks beautiful. Good job. Good job. And now here's a little test shot here. You pull the trigger on the garden hose sprayer, and the blood squirts out, and you got a surprise dead person. Well, not really dead, but there you go. And then you got oozy boozy blood coming out on the shirt there. And now we're going to edit it together. The airsoft gun that I use is an air compressed one that goes in the chamber there that'll do a blowback action. If you get one of these, when you shoot the gun, it'll look a little bit better because you'll get the little blowback action going when you pull the trigger.
All right, so there you go. That's how you do it. There's a part 2 on this. It shows kind of the digital portion of this. Show how to do like the gun flare and some other things as far as replacing the shirt to make it look like that cut is not there in the first place. I've got kind of 2 different examples on there. So watch part 2 of this on how to do the digital effects on the Squib. If you have any questions or comments, please post it here. I guess like it and all that stuff. But what I've done in the past with this is before you actually do put the blood in, I've done a couple water tests as well. I'll fill it with water and do a couple shots with water just to see how the water sprays out and see how much liquid I need to put into it before, because this was just a pistol shot. If you want to do something like a shotgun blast, you'll need a lot more liquid, you'll need a lot more blood. So you want to do some tests with water beforehand so you don't stain a lot of shirts and stain yourself. By the way, another disclaimer, do not put the tape on the actual body, put a t-shirt on underneath, or because it can rip skin, it can rip hair off the chest and all that stuff, and you don't want to rip the hair off your mother's chest. She'll get really pissed at you, so don't do that. Another disclaimer, the blood that I use in that stains like you wouldn't believe. Don't use that type of blood. Get a little bit more expensive blood that washes out of clothes, that washes out the skin. When you use this blood that I just used that you saw in there, it stains quite badly. So make sure you get a good high quality blood that doesn't stain, because you'll get blood stains all over the face, all over the hands, all over the body. If you have any questions, just message me. Put it on the site here, and I will get back with you. So good luck and have fun building for cheap independent movies. I can talk. Bye.